We live in a strange new world. A world where everything is always on charge. Our phones, our watches, games controllers, cars, laptops and much, much more. We are somewhat restricted to the length and duration of our batteries. That actually determines the days ahead of us. We've developed a new fear of range anxiety, where we must know where the next charge is coming from. Now, when the idea of an electric motorbike was first presented to me, I was like a lot of people, I scoffed at the idea. Thought it was a joke. I just couldn't see how electric motorbikes would ever replace the power, performance and style that I ride and love. Needless to say, I came into this project with a closed mind, narrow sights and a negative outlook on the electric motorbike idea. Now, I will start by saying open your mind. The bike I'm about to talk to you about is not designed to replace your track bikes, your super long range touring bikes, or to travel the globe if we're going against the clock. What we're about to present is designed to strip back biking to the absolute basics, to remind you why we fell in love with motorcycles in the first place. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the Maeving RM1. Right folks, the Maeving. I've had this on a long-term loan, so I've had this now for about 3 months or so. I've done a good nearly 300 miles on it. What do I think? It's a weird one. I'm a petrol head. I love bikes. I love my GS, I love my Aprilia, I love the loud noise, the vibration and everything, and yet this has nothing. This has nothing like that. This is a very strange concept for me. When I first heard about it, I don't know, I couldn't get excited about it. I just couldn't. But it's weird because now I've had a chance to have a sit on it and have a proper go on it. It's kind of, and I'm going to kick myself for saying this, but it kind of makes sense. So yeah, when I first got on the bike, it was a really weird sensation. You twist the throttle and there's no drama. There's no vibration, there's nothing to worry about. You just twist the throttle and it goes, and it's this very, very smooth, very linear sort of delivery of power that just takes you where you want to go. It's an incredible experience. The noise. Now we'll talk about the noise for a second. Now the noise is something that I generally thought that I would miss. Now that's what most people say they don't like electric bikes for, because the noise. They'd miss the noise, they'd miss all that sort of everything that goes along with it. In all honesty, you don't miss the noise. I mean, just then I was riding the bike and I had my helmet on, which has got the speakers in. I was listening to music and I was generally enjoying the music. If anything, I could hear not just the music but the outside world far better than I could before, because there's nothing to distract from that. When you turn the music off and when you're riding the bike, it's just you and the bike, I really quite enjoy it. It's a weird thing to explain. It's like when you take one of your senses away. If you take, I don't know, touch, take the sensation of touch or sight away, all your other senses are heightened. In this case, it's almost like you take that distraction or the sense of the bike's exhaust, the noise and everything that goes along with it, and so you almost hear everything else so much more. I'm getting to junctions and I'm stopping and I can already hear what's coming around the corner before I see it. It's weird. Loud pipes save lives, and I actually genuinely believe that, but in this case, quiet bikes saves lives as well. You hear things way before you actually see them. So yeah, that was a weird thing to get used to. Delivery of power. Now this is not a sports bike. There's absolutely no way I can compare this to a sports bike or an adventure bike or all these big powerful engines, and yet it's not designed to be like that. So for anyone that's looking to have a comparative electric bike, this is not the bike for you. It's worth saying that straight away. What this is an absolutely perfect commuter. It's a bike that's designed to get you from A to B, whether it be for work purposes, for your shopping trips, just to go and see your friends or family in local villages. With the twin battery setup this has got, it's got an 80-mile range, which is absolutely plenty. Now, when you're riding the bike along, you can see the percentage, how much electric you've got left. And I generally thought that that would be an issue. People say about range anxiety, this newfangled thing of range anxiety, where you're always worried that you're going to run out of charge. I've had this now for like the last, I'd say, nearly 300 miles. I have never actually run this out. I've never got close to running it out. And I've done some good journeys, I've done some long journeys, I've rode it flat out down the bypass just to try and, see what it's about. You don't get anywhere near it, so that's always good. You don't get anywhere near getting empty. Okay, so let's talk about the battery side of things. Now, I think this is quite an innovative way of doing things. The batteries for majority of electric vehicles, whether it be cars or existing motorbikes, usually have the lead. And the only way you can charge the bike is by physically plugging the lead in, and that's how you're going to do it. Now, unless you've got a garage setup with electrics or a fantastic outdoor electric point, it could be hard for modern people, or if you're living in London or an apartment or flats or whatever it may be. What Maeving have done, I think it's a really, really good way of doing it, is they've managed to get around that in a way of doing things which is already familiar to a lot of us. For example, if you've got power tools at home, you've got a Bosch drill or a power tool or whatever it may be, when you recharge it, you physically take the battery out the power tool and you put it on charge. Exactly the same setup with this. So if I turn the bike off, I've already shown you how the batteries work. Tap it once for that, press and hold it. For the main battery department, you literally slide the battery out, and it is as simple as unlock it, slide it up, and it's got these guides here on the side, so you can do it just one hand underneath to support the weight of the battery, and there you go. And you just put that on your dock at home, which I'll show you now. Okay, so now we're back home, it's time to put the batteries on charge. As we said earlier, turn the bike off, that starts the countdown on the dial. Tap it once, tap it twice, and hold it. And that opens up the two battery compartments there. Now, if we have a look a bit closer at the battery itself, it's a fantastic bit of kit. Aluminium shell with this beautiful bamboo design down the side and the top as well. It has got the meter on top, so as you tap it, you can see how full, or how, in this case, how empty the battery is. And the amount of technology that's in this is absolutely incredible. To pop it on charge, exactly the same way we've just taken it out the bike, keep it the same way. We've got these brilliant chargers, we've got two chargers here from Maeving. We're just going to pop it on, and gravity is going to allow it to connect into place. Little push, now you'll know it's on because the dash lights up, and you'll see it start to flash on the next one as it charges. So we'll get the second one out the bike, exactly the same as the other one. Little bit of a support, and pop it on charge. Easy as that. So as we said earlier, this is ideal for people that haven't got the fantastic ability of having a garage with electrics, or if you've just got a unit, or even if you park your bike on the street or in your garden or whatever it may be. This brings the batteries, which is essentially the most important bit of the bikes, into the house. You charge them as and when you want to. Your normal 3-pin socket with this beautiful setup you've got here, and it is incredibly cheap. What I love about this is I actually did a test when I first got it. I wanted to see how much it realistically charges with modern day, how much electric and gas and all that is. So I let these get pretty much down to zero. Not completely, I'll be honest with you, but pretty much down to zero. Put them both on charge and put my smart meter on. Nothing else was on in the house, so I could accurately see, or as accurate as I can do, see how much it physically costs me to charge up both batteries from empty. Less than £1 is how much it actually physically cost to charge both batteries pretty much from empty to full. Now, you're never going to do that. You're never going to let your batteries get that low. Doesn't matter where you go, you're always going to come back with like 20, 30, 40, 50% still left on the charge. So when you get home, if you need to and want to, pop it on charge for an hour or so, it's done. In fact, to be honest with you, if it's halfway, you're probably about half an hour's worth of charge. It's nearly full anyway. So it's cheap, it's relatively quick, it's simple, it's easy, it makes sense. Okay, so once you've fully charged all the batteries, putting it back in is exactly the same as taking it out in reverse. Again, one hand under the battery, just to make sure you take the weight of it. It's got the guide so you don't harm the paintwork or anything, and literally use the weight of the battery to lock it back into place. You just push it back in. You can't go wrong here. It's basically on rails, and just with one finger, push it into place. When it can't go any further, it's in, and then shut the compartment, and you're ready to go. Okay, so let's talk about the dashboard which we've got on the bike. Now, it is beautifully simple. Some would say basic, some would say it's lacking, but in all honesty, it's got exactly what you need. When you turn the bike on, it does a little diagnostic sweep, make sure everything's working as it should do. It actually primes the motor, so if you are moving the bike at this point, it also you can actually feel that when you're moving it. And as I say, it shows everything that you need to do. So you've got the number here, the big number, that is your charge percentage. That is how much range or how much percentage in the battery or twin batteries you've got combined. Then of course you've got the mileage just below it, and then the N is the mode that you're in. Now, when you are driving the bike, if I just jump on the bike, there we go. So when you're actually on the bike and you're ready to go, you'd squeeze one of the brakes in and you'd press D for drive. This selects your driving mode. So if we have a close up here and actually see the mode, you'll be able to see that when I change it from different modes, mode 1, mode 2, mode 3. Now to give you an idea what they are, mode 1 is essentially full power. Full power is the full speed, which is between 45 and 50 mile an hour, top speed, limited. Mode 2 restricts the bike down to 30 mile an hour, so this is perfect for your cities, for villages, for 30 mile an hour speed zones, and if you really are looking to save the range and you're getting worried that you're getting really low, you put it into mode 3, and mode 3 actually restricts the bike to 20 mile an hour. So that's just going to make sure you get the absolute best out of your battery life. Yes, you're sacrificing speed, but needs must as it may be.
Okay, guys, so I wanted to round this video off with a bit of reflection. I've taken the bike back. It's gone back to Maeving, and I'd like to take this opportunity to say, first of all, thank you so much to Maeving for giving us the opportunity to have a look at this bike in detail. We've had the bike for, blimey, a good few months now, and we've done over, hundreds of miles on the bike, and we've put it through its paces, not just on the road, but seeing how the charging side of things works, and seeing how it works in a real world situation. So again, thank you so much to Maeving for the opportunity to do so. We really appreciate that in helping to create this video. Right, so what did I think of the bike? Now, honestly, looking back at it, I can say that I genuinely quite enjoyed it. I think it was very different. It was not what I expected. I don't know what I expected, to be honest with you. When I first got on the bike, as I said in the video earlier, I was blown away by how different it was to normal motorcycling. I think if I think about it, that is probably the key to enjoying a bike like this. Now, if you are comparing it to like the bikes you see over my shoulder, the adrenaline, the sports bikes, then it's not for you. This is not that sort of bike. And once you take a step back and look at this bike for what it is, you really start to understand that it does make sense. And it's a fantastic bike. It really is. It's a commuter. Now, this bike was only designed for, let's say, London, Manchester, the towns, so commuting to and from your job, place of work, maybe local journeys. And for that alone, it's fantastic. However, it became so popular so quickly that people used it for so much more than just a daily commute. Now, people were using it just like I have. I've been using it to go down the shops, to go and get some milk, to go to the post office, to go and see friends and family, to actually enjoy the local roads, which I never thought you'd be able to do on a bike like this, especially the RM1, which is a bike which is, let's face it, a commuter, a through and through commuter bike. It's not going to blow your socks off. It's not stupidly quick. Um, and yet it retains all the fantastic aspects that make us love motorcycles. I love how quiet it is. I love how smooth it is. I love how cheap it is to run. There's so many things about the bike that just make sense. Now, don't get me wrong, it is not for everyone. And this is something that I know, and I keep coming back to it, and I show people the bike, and there was two reactions. Oh my God, that's wicked. Or what the hell's that? And there's no in between. It's interesting. And riding the bike, you're going to either love it or you're going to hate it. If you are looking for something as a second or third bike, or just something to poodle around on, it is perfect. If you're looking for something that's going to do 300 miles touring with luggage, and if you want to do 150, 200 mile an hour, no, don't get this bike. But then, there's bikes out there that I look at and go, well, I'd never have that. I'd never own it. This is a bike I can genuinely imagine seeing it in my garage. I can imagine using it on a daily basis. I am quite excited about the future of electric bikes. Now, one question someone asked me, which is I definitely wanted to put it in the video, was would you buy one? So I took a step back and I looked at it and I went, would I buy one? Honestly, I'd say no. However, there is a reason. The reason I'd say no is simply because of the acceleration, the performance side of things, the out and out acceleration, and the top speed. Now, Maeving have already countered this. They've already come back to me and said, well, hang on, the RM1S is now coming out. I was like, oh, okay, so what's that? What's different about it? Now, we saw this firsthand at the NEC Motorcycle Live show last year in November 2023. It retains the looks, it retains the design, the fantastic things we love about the bike, but they've now come up with a better batteries and a better motor, which essentially gives us 70 mile an hour top speed, which is perfect. That now brings it perfectly in line with the 125s, the 250s, the road speeds that you'd be using it for if you're going bypasses or even motorways if you wanted to. And it also gives you far better performance and acceleration. So it's now ticking all the boxes. So would I buy the R1M? No. Would I buy the R1MS? Honestly, I'm actually quite excited about it. I cannot wait to get my hands on the RM1S and put it through its paces. If it's as good, if it's even half as good as what I'm thinking of, honest to God, I think I can see it in my garage. I'm thinking about buying one. I really am. So yeah, fantastic bike. Really enjoyed it. I am going to miss it. But yeah, it is what it is. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you again to Maeving for the fantastic opportunity about riding it and reviewing it and putting it through its paces. And I hope you've enjoyed the video. Guys, this is James from Midlands Motorbikers. Thank you very much. Take care.